Imagine when something happens in front of the eyes of Rick Lagina, who has been digging at the same place for years, which turns the whole environment into silence. Then understand that it is a big deal. Oak Island, a place where some mystery is hidden at every step. What happened there this time was not just another discovery but a shock which completely shook Rick and his team. Everything was going on normally. The machines were digging. The team was busy with their work. But then something happened which no one had expected. Rick's face suddenly became very serious. Fear, anger, and shock. All three started appearing together in his eyes. The cameras were turned off for a while, and what was recorded is being described as the most shocking moment till date. Was it something dangerous, some centuries-old secret that has now been revealed? Or has the infamous curse of Oak Island once again targeted someone? If you are thinking that it is not so easy to scare Rick Lagina, then you should watch this video completely, because this time Oak Island has shaken not only history but also Rick's soul. This is not an ordinary episode. This is the moment when Oak Island showed its most terrifying truth. If you are interested in mysterious discoveries and the truth of Oak Island, then do not forget to subscribe to the channel. The next revelation can be even bigger than this. Oak Island, a land of mysteries. Oak Island is a tiny island near Nova Scotia, Canada. From a distance, it looks like an ordinary place, but there is a mystery buried beneath its ground that has fascinated people for centuries. The story of this place is not new. Strange events have been happening here since the 1700s. The most famous mystery is the Money Pit, a pit that is said to have a treasure hidden inside. The story began when some teenagers noticed a pit, and as they dug, they found layers of wood, strange stones, and mysterious markings. People believed that something big was buried here, perhaps the treasure of pirates or the secret items of the Templar Knights. The place has been explored for years. Some found gold coins, some bones, and some mysterious documents. Many experts, engineers, and treasure lovers came here. But till date, no one could say for sure what is actually hidden here. The journey of Rick and Marty. Now, let's talk about two brothers who were determined to solve this mystery. Rick and Marty Lagina. Rick was connected to the story of Oak Island since childhood. When he first read about Oak Island in Reader Digest magazine, he became passionate about this place. This childhood dream gradually grew so much that he included his brother Marty in it. Marty, who is an engineer and businessman, was a little hesitant in the beginning, but when he saw that passion on Rick's face, he also decided to join him. Both the brothers put in their hard work, money, and time, everything for this one island. They started a series called The Curse of Oak Island in collaboration with Discovery Channel, which showed their entire journey, how they dig, what things they find, and how new theories emerge every time. They have a whole team, archaeologists, geologists, historians, and local workers who work day and night to solve the mystery of Oak Island. Many times it happened that they got something big, but then something happened which set everything back. But Rick and Marty are not the ones to give up. Rick believes that if this mystery is in front of us, then it is our responsibility to solve it. And Marty has also started walking on the same path. Season 11 started. Everything was normal. Season 11 began with a new enthusiasm and preparation. At the end of the last season, some such clues were found which convinced the whole team that they were now very close to the real treasure. This time, Rick and Marty had ordered new level machines to speed up the digging, drilling rigs that reach deep inside the ground, high-tech sensors, and some radar scanners that had never been used before. The Oak Island team, which had been engaged in solving this mystery for so many years, had now become even more professional and expert. Everyone was busy in their respective responsibilities. Some were doing data analysis, some were measuring the depth of the digging, while some were searching old maps and documents. Every morning, the team held a small meeting. Rick would explain the strategy for the whole day, and everyone would start working together. Rick Lagina, as always, was calm and focused. He had a complete plan where to dig first, to what depth to go, and which places to scan. Marty was also quite involved this time, but Rick had a different sparkle in his eyes. He had accepted that now the time had come when Oak Island would reveal its biggest secret. The weather was also cooperating. It was sunny, the ground was dry, and everything was going perfectly. The cameras were on, the documentary team was fully prepared, and everyone felt this time something big will definitely be found. Suddenly something went wrong, the first sign. But then what happened often in Oak Island. When everything seems right, then something strange comes to the fore. One afternoon when the team was working at the drilling site, a loud thtack sound was heard from under the ground. At first, everyone thought that maybe it was coming from some machine. But as the drill went down, the sound became even louder, as if someone was knocking from the depths. Rick immediately had the machine shut down. He said, "This is not normal. This is not the sound of a rock or metal hitting another object. This is something else." The team's sound engineer also made a recording and listened to the sound. It had some vibration-like sound as if there was a large structure or chamber there. After this, they started scanning the location with sensors. But as soon as the scanner was turned on, the screen started malfunctioning. Sometimes the signal was disappearing. Sometimes it was suddenly increasing. The machine had to be restarted again and again. Marty said in a little irritation, "What is happening?" Everything was fine till now. Rick just kept looking at the screen silently. Then he said, "Oakling us again. There is something down there which does not want us to go further." Not only the machines, some of the team members also started feeling strange uneasiness. One member told that when he went near that place, the GPS of his mobile suddenly stopped working. Some felt headache and confusion. Seeing all this, Rick's face became even more serious. He understood that now it is not just a matter of digging. There is something that is hidden and which probably wants to remain hidden. Rick once again gathered the team and said, "We have ignored Oak Island's warning many times, but this time we will not move forward without full preparation." Camera cut and team's anxiety. The digging had reached a point where everyone was holding their breath. The drilling had been stopped because the strange noises coming from underground had made everyone a little nervous. But as the team started scanning deeper, something happened that caught everyone's attention. Suddenly, the camera cut out. The Discovery Channel documentary team, which was shooting continuously, stopped recording suddenly. No signal, no storage error. The system shut down on its own. The team's technicians were shocked because this had never happened before. Rick quietly said, "This is Oak Island. Nothing is normal here." Now, they started checking the footage of the backup cameras, which were installed at a distance and were recording. As the footage was scanned, some things came to light that stunned everyone. In the video, while the team was digging, a faint mist or smoke-like object was seen hovering just above the ground. It did not seem to be dust or smoke from the machine. It was different, like a slight jolt of energy. The footage showed that while digging, a team member stepped back and was frightened by seeing something. But when the camera went in that direction, there was nothing there. Later that member said, "I felt someone put a hand on my shoulder, but there was no one behind." There was a commotion in the team. No one was speaking, but everyone's faces were telling that now the matter had become serious. Rick asked everyone to take a break and himself stood at one side and started staring at the ground. What was found under the ground? The next day the digging started again, but this time everything was being done slowly and carefully. Rick had clearly said, "If you find anything unusual, stop the work immediately." After reaching about 30 feet down, the machine suddenly hit a hard metal. There was a strong shock. The tip of the machine had bent and the team understood that there was something big and solid below. They immediately changed the method of digging and started removing the soil from the sides. After a while, a large iron structure came into view. It was like a chamber or box, completely sealed. Its color was slightly rusted, but its structure clearly indicated that it was not an ordinary thing. Some marks and raised signs were visible on top like some language or symbol. The most surprising thing was that as soon as a microphone was placed near this structure, very faint but clear sounds started coming from inside as if something was moving or there was some movement inside. Rick immediately stopped the machine and signaled the team to retreat. Marty asked, "Should we open it?" Rick said without thinking for a moment. "Don't open it now. Until we are completely sure, we will not move even an inch forward." Some of the team members stepped back. Some stopped digging. A deep silence prevailed all around. Rick bent down and looked at the structure carefully. There was more fear in his eyes than curiosity. He told the team, "This is not just any old box. Someone has hidden it deliberately, and I don't think we have been given permission to bring it out." Old warnings and the curse of Oak Island. An old and scary warning is associated with Oak Island. The treasure will not open until 7 people die. This line is not just a saying, but it is very important to understand its depth. When the excavation started for the first time, even then this thing was taken lightly. Everyone thought that this is just a folk tale, an old rumor. But gradually over the years, this rumor started matching the reality. So far, 6 people have lost their lives on Oak Island. Some died in an accident. Some got buried under the rubble during excavation. And some people died in mysterious circumstances which have not been understood till date. After every death, people said, "Now only one more is left." Rick Lagina did not believe much in these things. He believed that every mystery can be solved with hard work and scientific methods. But the events that happened in Season 11, the sudden sounds, the sealed iron box, the team members' anxiety, all this forced Rick to think. He once said to the team, "If all this is not a coincidence, then are we very close to that warning?" Marty, who always looks at things from a logical perspective, was also now getting a little hesitant. Both the brothers felt that maybe Oak Island really wants to hide something, and every time it is trying to stop us by giving some hints. This old saying had spread silence in the entire team. There was only one question on everyone's face. Is one of us next? Team meeting and emergency call. The day the iron structure was found and sounds came from inside it. The same evening, Rick called the entire team for an emergency meeting. This was not a normal conversation. This was a decision taken at a very serious juncture. Rick spread a map on the table and told everyone, "We will not touch this place until we are sure that it is safe." Marty was also sitting in front, and for the first time he seemed to completely agree with Rick. He said, "If we have to call a security team from outside for this, then that should be done." In a short while, they contacted the local authority of Nova Scotia and also called a government-level archaeological security team. For the first time, an emergency protocol was activated for the excavation of Oak Island. During this time, a member of the team suddenly started feeling dizzy. He was feeling strange fatigue and nervousness. At first, everyone thought that maybe this is happening due to the hard work of the whole day. But his health started deteriorating continuously. He was immediately taken to the medical tent. After examination, the doctor said that there was a lot of stress in his body and his blood pressure had increased a lot. When asked what he felt, he replied softly, "I felt as if someone was watching us. Someone was feeling our every move." Hearing this, everyone sitting in the meeting became silent for a few moments. Rick took a deep breath and looking at everyone said, "If Oak Island wants to stop us, then maybe now is the time to stop for a while to think and decide how much risk we want to take." What was found? It looked like a coffin. The excavation at Oak Island had reached a point where suspense and fear were accompanying every step. The heavy structure that the team had seen under the ground was now clearly visible. A very large iron box which looked like a coffin. This was not an ordinary structure. Its length was about 6 feet and height about 3 feet. When seen from above, its color was completely rusted, but its structure and heaviness indicated that it could be several hundred years old. Rick himself got down and started removing the soil accumulated on it with his hands. And then some strange markings were seen on the box as if something was engraved in some ancient language. Some symbols, some circular symbols, and a straight cross-like mark. The historian of the team said as soon as he saw it, "This is not Latin. Maybe it could be Templar or Finnish symbols." Marty was standing in a corner, completely silent. Rick stared at the coffin and said, "This doesn't look like a normal thing. It was hidden here for some special purpose." Everything was in such suspense that no one could decide whether to open it or not. Inside the box, camera turns on again. Rick said that if it is opened, it will be done with utmost caution. The cameras that were off for some time were turned on again because what was about to happen now could possibly become history. The team slowly lifted the coffin-like box and started preparing to remove the seal. There were big bolts in all four corners of the box which were not easy to remove. The help of a machine was taken, and after about 40 minutes of hard work, the box was finally opened. As soon as the lid was removed, a gust of cold air came out, and what was inside stunned everyone. Inside, there was a figure wrapped in something like a black blanket. Rick wore gloves and slowly removed the layers from it. A skeleton-like thing was seen below, completely in human shape. Near it were some wooden planks, metal plates, and an old leather document. The document was completely dry, but something was written on it. Some words that could not be read at first glance. The camera was zooming. Every member of the team had surprise in their eyes. Rick slowly stepped back. His breathing had become fast. He did not say a word, just closed his eyes. Rick's silence and Marty's reaction. Rick was in a different world at that moment. His eyes looked empty, as if he had seen something that he could not handle. Marty came to him and put his hand on his shoulder and said, "Rick, are you okay?" Rick slowly nodded but did not say anything. He just kept looking at that coffin. Marty then said, "Should we show this to the world or not?" This question was in the mind of everyone standing there. On the one hand, the historic discovery, which was perhaps the most important piece of the mystery of Oak Island, and on the other hand the fear that it might lead to something else. Rick said softly, "There is something about it that we don't understand. If it really is what I think it is, we need to understand why it was here before we show it." Marty looked at the camera team. Everything stopped for a few seconds. The rest of the team, who were watching all this from a distance, looked at each other and started nodding as if they were convinced that today Oak Island had really revealed a glimpse of its deepest secret. Social media and media's sensation. What happened on Oak Island was not just limited to that team. As soon as the footage of that iron coffin was saved on an internal server, it somehow got leaked, and within a few hours, social media sites like Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter went on fire. A user uploaded the video clip with the name Oak Island's Secret Burial Box, and it got millions of views in the next 2 hours. Someone wrote, "What we saw is that history, or the beginning of a curse." News channels also sent reporters to the spot. There was only one discussion everywhere: has the curse of Oak Island come true? Many people were questioning Rick and Marty. Should they have stopped the excavation? Some were saying that this discovery is something beyond the limits of humans and we should not have tampered with nature or history. But on the other hand, people's curiosity was at its peak. Reddit was full of threads. Someone started decoding the symbols written on the coffin, while someone claimed that the bones were not human. Some people even started linking this discovery to Freemasons, Knights Templar, and biblical events. The Oak Island team, which had been so open in front of the cameras till now, suddenly became silent, and this silence became the biggest mystery. Was this the last excavation? After these events, Rick gathered the team and called a serious meeting. There was fear and confusion on everyone's faces. Rick said very slowly and in a tired tone, "Maybe we should stop now. It would not be right to continue." There was silence in the room after hearing this. Rick Lagina, who had been chasing this mystery for years, was now himself saying, "Stop it." Some members of the team agreed and some were still looking for the last answer. But Rick's face said it all. He had reached the point where fear had overtaken curiosity. Marty later gave a statement to the media. "What we have discovered is huge, but we will not move forward until we have full safety and scientific confirmation." The Discovery Channel also said they were reviewing their policy regarding the footage. There was no official decision on whether the show would continue or stop here. What next? Cliffhanger ending. The digging was halted for the time being, but the air on Oak Island was still heavy, as if it wanted to say something more. Rick was once again standing at the spot where the coffin was found. The cameras were on. After a moment of silence, Rick looked at the camera and said, "What we have seen will change everything." It was not a treasure. It was a warning. Marty came up to him and said, We have just opened the door. The real horror is yet to come. These words sounded like the climax of a movie, but this was the reality. Oak Island had revealed one of its biggest secrets. But was this the end? Or had the real story not even begun yet? The last footage on television showed the team quietly returning from the site. But in the last frame, the camera stops at the place where the excavation took place and the ground itself is seen shaking slightly. Is Oak Island responding?